Angelina was radiant after accepting the marriage proposal, but her joy is shaken when someone warns her, "You will regret it." What Angelina will do with this unexpected information will lead to a surprising twist in her life. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. The summer sun shone brightly over the small town, reflecting off the windows of the buildings and warming the asphalt of the busy streets. In the parking lot of a local supermarket, Angelina carefully manoeuvred her compact car, trying to fit it into a tight spot. Her long brown hair was tied in a messy ponytail, and her eyes were focused on the rear-view mirror. Next to her in the passenger seat was Grace, her best friend since childhood. Grace was the opposite of Angelina in many ways, extroverted, impulsive, and always ready for an adventure. "Watch out, Angie. You're too close to that black car," Grace warned, pointing to the sports vehicle parked next to them. Angelina bit her lip, trying to concentrate. I know. I just need a little more space." That's when it happened. With a soft thump, Angelina's car rear-ended the black car. Her heart raced, and she immediately slammed on the brakes. Oh no, Angelina murmured, feeling panic rising in her chest. Before she could even turn off the engine, the door of the black car flew open violently. A tall, muscular man stepped out, his face twisted with anger. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he shouted, striding quickly towards Angelina's car. Trembling, Angelina got out of the car, her legs shaky. I'm so sorry," she stammered. "It was an accident. I'll pay for any damage." The man, whom she would later learn was named Logan, continued his outburst, cursing and gesticulating violently. His voice echoed through the parking lot, attracting curious and concerned looks from other customers. Grace got out of the car, standing protectively beside Angelina. "Hey man, calm down. It was just an accident. No need to make such a fuss." Logan seemed to notice for the first time Angelina's delicate and scared appearance. His tone of voice lowered a bit, but the anger was still evident in his brown eyes. "Do you have any idea how much it costs to fix a car like this?" he growled. Angelina, fighting back tears, took her phone out of her bag with trembling hands. "We can exchange contact information. I promise I will cover all the costs." As they exchanged numbers, Grace didn't take her eyes off Logan, her expression a mix of distrust and irritation. When they finally got back to the car, she turned to Angelina. "What an idiot. You can't even see a scratch on his car. He just wanted to cause trouble." Angelina nodded silently, still shaken by the confrontation. She had never been good at handling conflicts, and Logan's aggressiveness had left her deeply disturbed. The next day, to Angelina's surprise, her phone rang. It was Logan. His voice on the phone was completely different from the day before, calm, almost regretful. "Hello, Angelina. This is Logan from the parking lot yesterday. I wanted to apologize for my reaction. It was totally out of proportion." Angelina felt a mix of relief and confusion. "Oh, it's okay. I understand that you were upset." "Actually," Logan continued, his voice taking on a charming tone, "I would like to apologize properly. How about we have a coffee?" Grace, who was visiting Angelina at that moment, frowned upon hearing the conversation. When Angelina hung up, she wasted no time in expressing her opinion. "Angie, you're not thinking about accepting, are you? That guy seemed like a lunatic yesterday." Angelina bit her lip, undecided. "He seemed really sorry, Grace, and it was kind of him to call to apologize." "Gentle?" Grace scoffed. "He should have done that yesterday. Angelina, I don't think it's a good idea. He doesn't seem like a nice guy." But there was something in Logan's voice, a mix of regret and charm that intrigued Angelina. "He just got nervous because of the accident," she justified, more to herself than to Grace. Against her friend's advice, Angelina decided to meet Logan for coffee, and so began a relationship that would change her life in ways she could never have predicted. Logan was, at first glance, the perfect man. Tall, handsome, with a charming smile and engaging conversation. He worked as an executive at a tech company and had an apparently successful life. In the first few months of dating, Angelina found herself completely captivated by his charm. They strolled hand in hand through the city park, shared ice creams on sunny afternoons, and watched movies cuddled on Angelina's couch. Logan surprised her with small gifts and affectionate messages, making her feel special and loved. However, as time went by, small signs began to appear. Moments of impatience, outbursts of anger over trivial matters, derogatory comments disguised as jokes. Angelina, in love and wanting to see only the best in Logan, justified each incident as a moment of stress or a peculiar trait of his strong personality. It was during a visit to Logan's parents' house, about 6 months after the start of the relationship, that Angelina witnessed something that deeply disturbed her. Logan and his mother, a kind middle-aged lady named Margaret, were talking in the kitchen about dinner plans. "Mum, I've already told you I don't eat this crap broccoli," Logan said, his voice raised and irritated. Margaret smiled patiently. "Sweetie, I just thought it would be good to have some vegetables." "You never listen to me," Logan interrupted, slamming his hand on the table, "always doing what you want without caring about what I want." Angelina watched, shocked, as Logan continued to speak disrespectfully to his own mother. Margaret just lowered her head, murmuring apologies and promising to prepare something different. That night, lying in bed in her apartment, Angelina couldn't get the scene out of her head. She picked up the phone and hesitantly called Grace. "Grace? Sorry to call so late." "Angie, is everything all right?" Grace's sleepy voice quickly became alert. Angelina told her friend about the incident at Logan's house. Grace listened in silence and then sighed deeply. "Angelina, to know how a man will treat a wife, observe how he treats his mother. I think you already have all the proof that you won't have a future with Logan." Grace's words weighed heavily on Angelina's heart, but she was already so involved, so in love with Logan, that she convinced herself that he would change over time. After all, he was affectionate with her, wasn't he? Months went by, and the relationship between Angelina and Logan deepened. However, along with moments of happiness came more episodes of controlling and aggressive behavior from Logan. He started to criticize Angelina's clothes, saying they were too flashy. He questioned her friendships, especially with Grace, insinuating that they were a bad influence. Gradually, Angelina found herself distancing from her friends and family. Logan claimed they were contaminating her with negative opinions about him. She changed her wardrobe, her routines, everything to please Logan and avoid his outbursts of anger. Grace tried several times to talk with her friend, but Angelina always defended Logan. "You don't know him like I do," she would say. "He only wants the best for me." Almost a year into their relationship, on a starry night, Logan took Angelina for a romantic dinner at an elegant restaurant. With the city lights twinkling in the background, he kneeled and took a small velvet box from his pocket. "Angelina," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "you make me the happiest man in the world. Will you marry me?" Angelina's heart raced. She looked at the sparkling ring, at Logan's hopeful face, and felt a confusing mix of emotions: joy, fear, doubt. But the yes slipped from her lips before she could truly process everything. That same night, overwhelmed by the excitement of the moment, Angelina called Grace. It had been months since the two had talked, and Grace's voice was a mixture of surprise and concern. "Grace, you won't believe it. Logan proposed to me." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. When Grace finally spoke, her voice was heavy with concern. "Angelina, are you sure about this? After everything that happened?" "What do you mean?" Angelina asked, feeling her euphoria diminish. Grace took a deep breath. "Angelina, you will regret it if you marry him. He is not the man you deserve." Grace's words struck Angelina like a bucket of cold water. All the joy of the moment dissipated, replaced by a sense of discomfort she had been ignoring for months. "You're jealous," Angelina accused, her voice trembling. "You never gave Logan a chance." And with that, she hung up the phone, leaving Grace astonished on the other end of the line. The following night, Logan and Angelina went out to celebrate their engagement. She spent hours getting ready, carefully choosing a dress she knew Logan would approve of. Her hands were trembling slightly as she applied makeup, and she couldn't help but think about Grace's words. When they arrived at the restaurant, an elegant place overlooking the city's river, Logan seemed strangely tense. His eyes scanned Angelina from head to toe, and his expression darkened. "Where is the ring?" he asked abruptly, even before the waiter could hand them the menus. Angelina looked at her hand and felt her heart sink. The engagement ring was not there. In a flash, she remembered taking it off to take a shower and leaving it on the bathroom sink. "Oh, Logan, I'm sorry," she began, her voice trembling. "I must have forgotten it at home when—" "Did you forget?" Logan interrupted her, his voice rising. "How can you be so careless? I spent a small fortune on that ring." People at nearby tables began to look over, some with curiosity, others with evident concern. Angelina felt her face burn with shame. "Logan, please," she implored in a low voice. "I'm so sorry. It was an accident." But Logan didn't calm down. His voice got louder and louder as he called her stupid, irresponsible, and ungrateful. Each word was like a stab in Angelina's heart. Tears started to stream down her face, smudging the makeup she had applied so carefully. And then, like a flash, Grace's words echoed in her mind. "Angelina, you will regret it if you marry him." At that moment, sitting in the elegant restaurant, with the pitying glances of the other patrons upon her, Angelina finally saw the truth she had been denying for so long. This was not an isolated incident. This was Logan. The real Logan. Without saying a word, she stood up from the table and left the restaurant, ignoring Logan's shouts behind her. She walked through the city streets, the nightlights reflecting on her tears. Each step she took seemed to free her a little more from the weight she had carried for so long. When she arrived home, Angelina saw the engagement ring exactly where she had left it, on the bathroom sink. She picked it up, feeling its weight in her hand. For a moment, she thought of all the promises and dreams that this ring represented. But then she remembered all the moments of fear, insecurity, and sadness that Logan had caused her. With a determination she hadn't felt in a long time, Angelina picked up her phone and typed a message to Logan. "It's over. I can't marry you. The ring is with me. Come pick it up tomorrow." She pressed send and felt as if an enormous weight had been lifted off her shoulders. Tears streamed down her face, but for the first time in months, they were not tears of sadness or fear. They were tears of relief. Angelina spent the night reflecting on the past few months, on how she had allowed Logan to distance her from everything and everyone she loved. She thought of Grace, of how her friend had tried to warn her from the beginning. The next morning, Logan appeared at her door, his face a mixture of anger and regret. He began to apologize, promising that he would change, that he would be better. But Angelina didn't relent. "Logan," she said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her hands, "I deserve more than this. I deserve respect, affection, and understanding. And I realize that I can't expect that from you." She handed the ring back to him and closed the door, ignoring his protests and promises. Leaning against the closed door, Angelina cried. She cried for the lost time, for the neglected friendships, for the self-love she had forgotten. But then, slowly, a smile began to form on her lips. She picked up the phone and dialed a familiar number. "Grace?" she said when her friend answered. "You were right. I broke up with Logan. Can you come over?" Grace's voice was full of relief and love. "I'm on my way, Angie. I'm so proud of you." That afternoon, sitting on Angelina's couch, the two friends talked for hours. Angelina cried, laughed, and finally let out all the feelings she had been holding back for so long. Grace listened, consoled her, and reminded her of the strong and incredible woman she had always been. "You know, Angie," Grace said softly, "loving yourself is the beginning of a lifelong romance." Angelina smiled through her tears. She knew she had a long road ahead, but for the first time in a long while, she felt hopeful. She had learned a valuable lesson. Before loving someone, she needed to have enough self-love not to allow others to treat her degradingly. The future might hold other encounters and passions, but Angelina knew she would only allow herself to love someone who treated her with dignity. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.